Welcome back to Shadows of the Past, where we shine our light on the shadows of history. Now imagine a time when you've been accused of something that you haven't done. Was it something stupid that you'd forget in minutes, or an utter betrayal that still festers as we speak? Was it just a simple mistake, or an intentional malice? Did it end up having a dire outcome? So dire that you're taken by cold men to an even colder building, placed inside a tiny cell where you await your trial? And you know full well that even if you've absconded from doing the ridiculous thing that you've been accused of, that they're still going to torture you until you confess. And so you do. And then your torturers condemn your name and execute you in a slow and painful process. So yeah, that ever happened to you? Oh, just George, and Johannes, and Dorothea, and about 900 others. This is the story of the Drudenhaus, or the witch house, and the grotesque crimes committed within for the sake of God. Let's delve into the shadows. Today's story begins in Bamberg, Germany in 1627, and this is going against the backdrop of the 30-year war going on between the Catholics and the Protestants. Also, the Holy Roman Empire was experiencing a mini ice age in several locations that was leading to total crop failures. So like any sane and completely rational person would do, they blamed it on witches. And the first executions, they would be started by Prince Bishop Johann Gottfried von Aschheisen, looking to flex some Catholic might. It involved a family quarrel where 15 would be executed in the proceedings, and around 300 by the time his reign had finished. And it was his successor, Johann George Fuchs von Dornheim, that decided to really go all in on the torture and execution of those found guilty of witchcraft. And the man would be so prolific at this that he would be known as Hexenbrenner, or the Witch Burner. And while a pretty sweet name for a metal band, probably not the best name for your legacy. This is all in the hopes of having a model Catholic state, and this is through strict and brutal means. And a witch hunt would be perfect for imposing that. So, using local theologian Friedrich Forder's ideology, Dornheim put together a special witch commission. They would investigate and prosecute the witches that are involved in the frost of 1626. Now, witch hunts were not outside the known realm for Germany during this time, but they had never been this vicious. And as the torture victims piled up, and the accused would name new accomplices, the accomplices would go on to do the same. Soon a torrent of false accusations and brutal suffering would spiderweb out, blanketing the countryside. Some of the things that you could be tried for were performing magic rituals, flying, having sex with a demon or Satan, and desecrating a sacred object. So we can just agree they didn't really like fun. Eventually, a particular prison was built in order to house the accused. This would also be the place of their torture, the largest of its kind, and it would be known as the Drudenhaus. Texts from the Bible littered its walls to ward from the hexes, and each of its 26 cells were isolated and meant to psychologically break the accused. The inscription hanging over the doorway serves as a grim reminder of what's to come as they're dragged through the door. It says, "Let it be a reminder of justice from which the gods cannot ignore." What were some forms of this so-called justice? Now, the lightest included being force-fed herring that was covered in seasonings, but no water would be given to the accused. And it only gets worse from there. You could be given a scalding bath and then having lime thrown in to scorch the skin, or the old Bamberg kneeler, where the accused would be whipped and beaten while being made to kneel on sharp spikes. This sadistic asshole even had a chamber put in that contained many small wooden pyramids and spikes so that a prisoner would never be able to sit or sleep comfortably. at least not without impaling themselves. Over 1,000 people were executed during the witch trials, and it was in the Drudenhaus where 3 of the most prolific victims were kept. The first of these to be executed was George Hahn. He was one of the few secular people in the village and vehemently objected to the witch trials. He even hated them enough that he tried to sue the prince bishop. While George was en route to Speyer for trial, his wife was accused of witchcraft. She was then tortured into confession and then quickly sentenced to be burned alive. Their daughter would soon succumb to the same unfortunate fate. George returned to Bamberg, news of his wife and daughter's death. And with this information, George didn't exactly need an 8-ball to tell him that his outlook did not look good. An official in Bavaria tried to send a messenger in order to try and help him, but was prevented from entering the city. Soon George was found, arrested, and was tortured into confessing practicing sorcery. He was executed, and in the following year, his son and other remaining daughter would receive the same end. And our next victim is Johannes Jonas, a mayor of Bamberg. He was put under suspicion after his wife was executed for witchcraft, and then eventually arrested after another mayor named him as an accomplice. Johannes denied this charge for nearly a week, as thumbscrews, leg vices, and strappado was used upon him. But the pain won out, and he confessed, and it was an interesting confession, to say the least. Johannes stated that he was seduced by a succubus that threatened to kill him until he accepted Satan as his god. And he didn't succumb, but then more demons started to attack him until he was forced to renounce God. Taking the sweet witch named Krix and receiving the familiar name Vixen, Johannes participated in magical rituals where he'd ride on the back of a hideous black dog. So red. During one of these rituals, Beelzebub himself was a guest of honor. Johannes was asked to sacrifice his children in Satan's name, but he was having some performance anxiety and was quickly beaten for his disobedience. But hey, he killed a horse later, so that totally makes up for it, right? And after reading this, I think I totally got my next D&D character's backstory. Johannes was able to get his guard to smuggle out a letter before his execution. In the letter, he continues to claim his innocence, and that those who testified against him now ask for his forgiveness. He also speaks about how he did not originally want to name others, but was forced to when put under threats of further misery. It's sad sign-off reading, "Good night, for your father Johannes Junius will see you no more." It's fucking heartbreaking. And the last victim was also another saccharine story, belonging to a woman named Dorothea Flock, second wife of Bamberg's counselor. She was first accused of adultery, escaped custody, and then was brought back under charges of witchcraft. Dorothea belonged to a wealthy family that tried to use their influence to free her, at least have her transferred from the Drudenhaus. I mean, it was the least they could do, with her being pregnant and all. Oh, did I forget to mention that? This woman was in the delicate condition the entire time. Dorothea's husband threatened to appeal to the Pope, but the Prince Bishop was having none of it. He stated that she had a healthy child, but otherwise was staying under lock and key. And eventually, her family's influence won out, and the Aula Council sent a mandate for her release. During this time, Dorothea continued to be agonized until she finally yielded to a confession. She was to be executed by being gripped with hot pincers and then burned alive. Her corpse was to be reduced to ashes and dishonor for her misdeeds against God. The release order arrived an hour after she was mercilessly killed, the execution being hastened after the witch hunters catching wind of the mandate being sent. Just real heartless bastards. But it would be Dorothea's execution and the invading Swedish army that would put an end to the Drudenhaus. After the Prince Bishop had pissed off many of the noble elites after indiscriminately killing members of any class, and as history has usually proven, screwing with the rich has not tended to fare well. A new head of the Witch Commission was put into power, and Prince Bishop Dornheim fled to Austria like a bat out of hell. The Drudenhaus was closed in 1632, and Dornheim remained in exile until his death. The Drudenhaus serves as a monument to human avarice. Many of those executed had their assets transferred to the Prince Bishop and his minions. The arrest, made in secrecy while under the cover of night, after one of the many and his network of informers pointed a finger in accusation. The egregious suffering of the many innocent in order to fill the coffers of the few. Despite our numerous leaps in technology, we still seem to remain on keeping that status quo. Hey, it looks like I gotta go. My new band Witchburner's gotta meet up and discuss our new song. It's called Dornheim Can Go Fuchs Himself. Thank you for delving into the shadows with me today, and I hope your own always remain behind you.